Welcome to Gaia's Calling, where stories ignite your spirit and the earth whispers her secrets. I'm Brad Swift, a right-on-purpose author of eco-fiction and nonfiction, inviting you to become an eco-guardian. Together, let's explore the wonders of our world and take action to protect them. Listen closely. Gaia is calling. Hey everybody, today's call is to Heroism in a time of the great unraveling. Why the future belongs to everyday visionaries, collaborators, and eco-guardians. So let's dig in. I remember what I would consider a heroic moment. It started with a phone call. It was a Thursday night. Ann and I had just settled in when Amber, our daughter, called. Their basement was flooding. Justin, her husband, had been called away as a first responder, and she needed help immediately. No big deal, I thought. I packed a bag, grabbed some clothes, and drove up the mountain to their home. I figured I'd help vacuum the water, maybe stay the night. I had no idea we were stepping into a storm that would soon be called Helene. But by 2 a.m., the power was gone. The vacuum was useless. The water kept rising. Inches of rain kept falling, hour after hour, days. We were to learn later that our area received from anywhere from 13 to over 30 inches of rain in that time. Cell phone towers went down next, due primarily to the power outages and disruption of the fiber optic lines, and with them, our ability to communicate with anyone. We were cut off. It was just Amber and me, two eco-guardians in crisis mode, and two small children, Logan, 3.5, and Piper, 1.5, and no idea what was coming next. Oh, by the way, there was also Rin, our Amber's beautiful pup. For 5 days, we hunkered down. No power, no news, just each other and the steady rhythm of responsibility. Diapers, food, water, buckets, blankets, calming fears. Was Ann okay? We had no way to know. Until finally, Justin managed to reach her days later, confirming that yes, indeed, she was safe. That week, I learned something about heroism. Not the cinematic kind, not the lone savior kind, the real kind, collaborative, courageous, committed to care. So, what does it mean to be a hero when the world we know is unraveling? When was the last time you felt the pull to rise, not as a savior, but as a steward? Leave a comment. Really, leave a comment. Let me hear from you. The true superpower of our time isn't domination, it's cooperation and collaboration. But what does this even look like? Well, consider the International Space Station, something I've been learning about since I've started reading Ron Garan. He's a former astronaut. His book's called The Orbital Perspective. It took 15 nations, many of them former adversaries, over a decade to build something none could have accomplished alone. In his book, The Orbital Perspective, Garan speaks about the orbital perspective, that being the world view that emerges when you look back at Earth from space and realize we're all in it together. And by the way, he also points out you don't have to take a trip into space to adopt this type of perspective. And I believe this is the same as the on-purpose perspective that I've used that has inspired the One Cause movement. Seeing Earth not as a battlefield, but as a beloved home, a shared miracle, one that we've been mistreating and taking for granted, but also one that has amazing healing powers when given the chance. The hero, the genius, the visionary, they all live in you. Brian Johnson says, he's of Heroics, by the way, you are the hero we've been waiting for. And I'd add, the genius, that's you too. The visionary, also you. You don't need superpowers, just purpose. Joseph Campbell gives us the hero's journey. But our dragons today aren't fire-breathing monsters. They're internal illusions. You know, the myth that we're separate from nature. The addiction to more is always better. The belief that we can innovate our way out of responsibility. The call to adventure today is to live aligned with the four great truths. This is more than action. It's a full system shift, what Ken Wilber would call a four-quadrant transformation. You know, the upper left being how we see ourselves, which is where we do a lot of work with the one cause approach. The lower left, how we relate to others. The upper right, what we create and build. And the lower right, how we organize communities and systems. And if you want a further kind of overview of the four quadrants, there's a link to a great YouTube video in the Substack. So, to be a hero now means embracing a worldview that regenerates life rather than depletes it. Living the truth. Real-world eco-guardians. Here are four real-world heroes whose work embodies the four great truths. Now again, great truth number one is interconnectedness. And so we have Robin Wall Kimmerer, botanist and author of Braiding Sweetgrass. Kimmerer weaves science with indigenous wisdom. She reminds us that plants are not just resources, they are relatives. Her work is a living invitation to reciprocity and reverence. And then under the great truth number two of sufficiency, we have Wangari Maathai. I hope I'm not terribly butchering that name. She's founder of Kenya's Green Belt movement. She empowered thousands of women to plant over 50 million trees. Her work was rooted in the belief that there is enough land, enough water, enough life, if we share and care for it. And then we got great truths number three, reciprocity, and representing that is Joanna Macy. Through the work that resonates, Macy offers practices for transforming ecological grief into grounded, regenerative action. She helps people see their pain for the world is not a weakness, but as love in disguise. And yes, I realize Joanna has recently passed away, but also I'm sure her work lives on in many of us. And then the last great truth, stewardship. And we got Boyan Slate and youth eco-leaders. At just 16, Slate launched the Ocean Cleanup. Today, his efforts inspire a generation around the world, youth-led permaculture teams, regenerative garden crews, and earth listening circles are reclaiming stewardship as sacred. Maybe you want to spotlight your own local hero. Click the Join the Chat button and share your story. And I'll even start with my wife, Anne, who recently, probably about 2 years ago now that I think about it, founded the Hendersonville Repair Cafes, where she teaches people to fix what's broken instead of tossing it out. She's one of my local heroes. You are already on the path. Here's the truth. If you're reading this, you're already walking your path. And I'm walking mine too. These weekly One Cause articles, that's part of it. My time in the garden, tending to squash and sweet potatoes, that's part of it. And there'll be more coming on my Loving Homestead experiment soon. Hosting Earth listening circles and listening deeply to the pain and promise of our time? Yes, that's part of it too. Maybe you want to go deeper. Try journaling with one of these prompts. What breaks your heart most about the world right now? I journaled on that, and you'll hear more about my results soon. When have you felt most connected to nature? Number 3, what's one small act of restoration you've already done? And 4, what's a dream you have that could help life on Earth thrive? And 5, who in your life is already living as a modern-day hero? And what's one way you can embody one of the 4 great truths this week? There you go. That's 6 of them. One for each day, and I'll give you a day off. Go ahead, engage. Journaling is a great way to get some added insights. So here's your mini mission, your heroic step. Choose one act this week. Make it small, make it soulful, make it yours. Here are a few suggestions. Tend to a part of nature that's near you, even if it's a tired houseplant or a patch of sidewalk. Share one journaling prompt with someone you care about. Or post about the great truth that's most alive for you. And here there's a link to click to review the 4 great truths if you need to. And number 4, begin a hero's notebook for wild, regenerative ideas. And then tell someone. Pass it on. Share it here by clicking the comment button. That's how movements begin and keep moving. Because the future doesn't belong to superheroes. It belongs to visionaries and muddy boots, to fierce-hearted families, to old and bold granddudes, and to eco-guardians rising in every corner of this turning world. This is your invitation to stop waiting, to start creating, to be the cause. The age of separation is ending. The age of stewardship has begun. Shall we begin?